to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand. We need new chairs. Save the money. We need to stand.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Mayor Grimminger.
Here.
Alderman Skaggs.
Here.
Alderman Rogers.
Here.
Alderman Stupi.
Here.
Alderman Jokers.
Here.
Alderman Steiger. Alderman Okenfuss.
Here.
Alderman Ross.
Here.
Alderwoman Broomfield. Here. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Approve agenda.
So moved. Second. Third. Here we go again. Here we
All in
go.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I don't believe Stacy Bell is going to be here tonight, so we may have to put that presentation off until maybe the next meeting. We can still look at the contract and address it, but I don't believe she's going to.
She had parent-teacher conferences that she had to attend.
So she is a teacher.
Plan on that for the next meeting. City Administrator's report.
Okay, there's been some conversation about purchasing of fuel by the city. The issue that came to me was that one station was cheaper than another, and what should we do? Because historically the city's kind of gone to spread the wealth, and since there was no local owner on the stations, I said, well, we'll buy it wherever the price is the best. I have since asked around Farmington, Perryville. They all bid out their fuel purchases every year, and they have someone bring them, whatever gives them the best price. Generally, it's the pump price less a discount. And one of the fuel stations here is already giving us a 5-cent discount, but I haven't put it out. So I wrote a letter to each of them asking them if they would be interested in doing that, and they all said yes. But I wanted to bring it to your attention, see what you wanted to do. Yes, sir.
I wish you would have said what you just said about how much you're giving.
I know, I got screwed. I realized when it left my mouth.
Well, everybody's got to rebid it, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah, I had a complaint. One of the store owners was saying that they were excluded by the city. One of the aldermen was telling them that they weren't never going to do any business with the city anymore.
Yeah, that was not my position.
You're talking about me. I didn't say that they ain't gonna do no more bid. I just said that.
Well, since you brought it up, yes, I am talking about you. And the person that you were talking to put it to me that way.
I just said that they got exclusive right now to one gas station. I don't think it's right because it should have been open to all of them to make it fair.
And I agree with that. But that wasn't true, what you were saying.
Let's go on to the next.
Well, so my question is, would you like for me to advertise for
Yes,
proposals?
that's the only fair one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last year, some of the board members attended the annual chamber membership meeting. It will be held this year on April the 20th at Chalmette. If you check your calendars and inform Pam of those who would like to attend, we can notify the chamber and make those arrangements.
What do we have to know? What's the date to tell last?
What is this? March, April 20th. I
Probably
don't know,
the
a couple
sooner-
of weeks, probably.
Probably the sooner the better, so they don't run out of tickets.
As I informed you on the work session, the letters were sent to each of the bidders on the sidewalk rejecting all bids because they exceeded our resources. I talked to the representative with Union Pacific that I've been contacting periodically, and he said, "I'm glad you called. I was just about to call you." And But he told me that they, both representatives of the UP in Burlington and Norden had visited the area, and the money has been appropriated, and that a start date will be established in the next 30 days, and then they think that once they pick the date, it'll take about 7 days to complete the work. So that's progressing. And finally, attached is the progress report that I received from the National Park Service on the, and it's self-explanatory, but their progress is being made pretty much on the schedule that Ms. Miles committed to at the meeting that I attended a couple of months ago. And, so that's there for your information, and that's it.
Any questions? Okay, staff reports, Terry, you're first.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. Just to let you know, you will have my written report at the next meeting as normal, but some things that we did go ahead and get started on was the issue that was brought up at the last work session about a security thing. We've been getting bids in on that. Hope to have something to present very soon to you on that. We changed out about 90 water meters in February, and we got a lot of sewer maintenance done. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. No, we went and got them. We're scheduled to do that on Wednesday of next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. Monday we're going to install them. I have concrete forms for manholes borrowed from another municipality, and they basically told us we could use them as long as we needed to this summer, and if they needed them, they'd contact us. So Monday, we're gonna get them installed. It's gonna take us a little bit of getting used to them because they come in several different sizes. There's 40-inch diameter, 42-inch diameter, 36-inch diameter, and it's kind of a jigsaw puzzle. So we have 2 manholes picked out that we're going to do them in because they're not very deep. And as we get started on those, we wanted to work in shallow ones. So
And that'll be in front of the old Conoco station?
yes, that's where we're doing the first one. I took city administrator out there a few weeks back and showed him a manhole, and it was in really bad shape. And what these forms do is they go down inside the manhole. We have to pour a little area. We set the forms in there, and then we pour concrete around them and use the existing wall as the outside form. And the manhole, these forms are now the inside form. And you pour about an 8-bag mix with calcium in it. It's a pretty thick mix, and they'll set up real quick. If it's a nice day, you don't really have to put any calcium in it, of course. But,
Did you get any more on that? You was getting a bid for the machine to
no, I wasn't getting a bid. I'm preparing to
or
bid
buy
that
the
out.
mix and to buy the mix?
Yes, I have an appointment tomorrow
Okay.
that I'm going to another town that uses one of these machines practically every day of the year, they say, that the weather permits. And it is at the same machine that is supplied from a company that has been very knowledgeable in this, and they've been helping us. So I'm going to look at their machine. And if their machine tomorrow performs to the way they say it performs to, then when we go to draw up our bid specs, I will utilize as much of that machine's bid specs as I can, not to eliminate others and make it a single source, but to meet some of the major criteria that their pump supplies and their air tank supplies and all that. So
Okay.
I'm going to witness one in use tomorrow.
Okay, good.
So, any other questions?
What municipality is that?
St. Peter's.
Oh, really?
St. Peter's. The representative of the company is from the Eureka area, and he said that St. Peter's is the closest town that he has sold one of these to of the size that we're looking at. They have much larger ones that are out there that contractors use, but they're in the $30,000 and $40,000 range, and they're spraying 200 feet away and 300 feet away from their equipment. This one's supposed to be able to let us work 100 feet from the trailer or tank or however we have it set up. It's kind of a small volume, but it sounds like it's going to be perfect for municipality our size. St. Peter's is quite a bit bigger, and they use it, like they said, practically every day the weather allows. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Some of the residents on Westwood Drive, at certain times of the day, their water pressure drops way down.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. Yeah, and what happens there on Westwood, I believe, what happens there on Westwood is when the high service pump pumping water from the water treatment plant, when that pumps on, that drastically increases their pressure. And so that pump runs a significant period of time during the day, because that's what fills the M-Road water tower. And so what happens is they get used to experiencing that increased volume, increased pressure, and when that pump then shuts off, then they drop back down to normal operating pressure. I've went over and put a pressure gauge on the fire hydrant with the high service pump on, and you know, I've got numbers as high as 75 pounds of pressure, and with the high service pump off, then I got a static pressure of around 60 pounds of pressure, which is very adequate. But if you have, you know, if you got a 3/4 inch line or a 5/8 line, maybe it robs you a little bit of volume. But the only time that they might experience lower pressure than that would be if it's hydraulic change and the water's traveling in a direction based off the pump, and then when the pump shuts off, then the water kind of changes direction back, and there could be a moment in time there where your pressure gets less, significantly less for a few seconds, just because of the water hammer and back and forth. But I've went over there, you know, several times over the last couple of years, and I've never found the pressure to be, you know, like down in the 20s or nothing like that. It's always been around 61, 62, 55, you know, an adequate amount of pressure.
You have a gauge with a recorder?
No, I do not. No, I only have a gauge that's site, you know, specific viewing at the time.
That street, it is looped, that water line, ain't it?
No,
Does it have a loop in it?
no, it goes up and dead ends on the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we flush that one periodically. That's on our list to flush. No, it's a dead end line.
Would that help any looping it or not? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah, you know, it might take some of that if there's a brief moment when the pressure really drops because of the water hammer, it might take some of that out. But I really, you know, unless people start calling me about it so I could maybe rent a chart recorder or something, I think what they're experiencing is they have high volume of pressure for a while, and then they have normal pressure, I think is what they're experiencing. And if you've got an older house that might have a galvanized line that's reduced in volume, you know, say you had a 3/4 inch line and it's really now a 3/8 inch line, when you lose 10 pounds of pressure, you lose a great volume, even though your pressure's still up there pretty good. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was wondering about the hydrant that had to be taken out there at Fifth and Washington.
Yeah,
Put one back.
we have not put one back. We will be putting one back in there. My plan right there right now is to put another hydrant in and tie it into the 8-inch line. If anybody that came up by there while we were working on that and seen see the mess that was, we couldn't put it back in the way it was unless we done what they done when they did it and fill the hole full of concrete. I mean, we had a jackhammer up there for quite a while busting that all out of there. So they had a 6-inch line and a 4-inch line tied together, and there was 14 different compression joints on that silly thing. So instead of putting it back in like it was, we took it completely out, and we will replace it, and we'll tie it directly in like it should be on the 8-inch line. They didn't do anything wrong when they done it. It's just that line came in later. The hydrant was there first. So I mean, they done the best they could when it went in.
You just don't have a time frame for it.
You know, I soon. Any other questions?
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Terry.
Dave?
As you see on my report there, we've been doing patching and trying to get as much crack sealing as we possibly can between the rains, and say next day whenever the cracks are full of water, we can't do anything there. but it just takes forever for us to get that oil pot warmed up enough where we can get something done. We start at 7 and it's about 10 before we actually get out and do it, start sealing the cracks. Replace a few more light poles. Actually, I got some more poles coming in because we found some more rotten ones.
I hate to put you on the spot, but we spent more money on street light repair this year than we budgeted, and a lot more than we spent last year. Are you aware of what's been going on out there that would cause that?
Well,
People driving into our light poles and everything?
well, they're getting old, and they're, you know, like I asked you about, you know, if I should go ahead and get some more
These
poles.
are the citizen electric bills.
Oh, the citizens' bills. I
Don't really have a sense for that.
don't have an answer for that one, unless their rate went up.
No, this is, well, it's possible, but it's the order, it's not just a rate increase, it's a pretty significant bump.
For their maintenance?
You know, when they have to repair a pole.
No, like I said, the downtown poles, we do that, the citizens doesn't do that, so.
Okay, then I'll have to talk to citizens.
Dave, I know, we all know because we've been sitting here, we've discussed it tonight, but now that the TV's on, I just want to let people know, so I don't get any more phone calls over the matter, that we are making progress on dismantling the pool, and we're going to be soliciting help and bids to get that taken care of. You've got the pool area, the house, the pool house, pretty much cleaned out. You're going to finish up on that, and just to let everybody out there know, progress is going forward on it.
Yes, we worked all day up there today. We had the whole crew up there, and we pretty well got the inside all stripped down. And as soon as weather breaks where we can get that canopy down, and then whenever your direction is, tell me to take the fence down, and we can do that, so.
Okay, hopefully we can hear from the Eagle Scout within the next week or so and get some direction on whether they want that fence or can use it. All right, thanks, Dave.
Well,
Anybody else? Thank you, Dave.
okay, thank you. Mark, do you need me to take this next meeting? Okay.
Stephanie?
Thank you. I have my report in front of you for the month of February. Do you have any questions?
Anybody?
Do you have, every report you send us, it says the number of visitors to the Welcome Center increased. Do you have any idea of a percentage?
Well, I've got on the breakdown that has the visitor numbers and the expenses. There is, it kind of gives you an idea.
And it's an increase over this time last year, or
Yes.
this month last year?
This month last year. And anything prior to June of 2010, I'm not certain on those
Right.
numbers, but, you know, I'm kind of using those in line, or in addition. But I would say, you know, for this time of year, we've had a really nice increase. A lot of it, I think, goes with the weather.
Okay.
We've had just some beautiful days.
While you're up there, in anticipation of future agenda items, you want to address the need for postage?
Yes, yes. I am asking for an increase for postage. The numbers that we budgeted for fiscal year 2012 was based on prior year's use. Postage is generally, actually I can say postage is only used on an as-needed basis. And this year we have had an increased interest in information both in the form of visitor guides and group information packets. And that has turned out very well. I think that's one reason why our numbers look so good, is that we have high interest. The advertising has been effective. And then looking at our group bookings for fiscal year 11, between April and November, we had a total of 17 adult groups with an average of about 30 people through group for group. This year, we already have 10 adult groups booked, and the average number is 40 per person in those groups. So the group packets and the emphasis on group travel is starting to show.
So you're asking for $1,500 more for postage?
Yes.
Kind of a product of being a victim of your own success.
Well, we hope we have more of that, don't we?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Any committee reports? Your meeting?
Yeah, we did have a meeting, actually, Channel 798. Our broadband is up and running as of 2/27/12, which that's a good thing. We've had people and organizations that always take videos of different events. We encourage that, keep doing that. We're going to show some of those things on Channel 98. That helps us tremendously because we don't have a big enough staff to go out there and video, obviously, every event that's going on. We appreciate that. We had some discussion about needing to update equipment. I think our tech committee is going to see what the most pressing issues are and kind of give us some guidelines for our next meeting. So we're going to need a few $1,000s to do that. So that's going to be a pretty big hit in the pocket. But we'll, that's one thing we're working on. We also have a new logo. Is that it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is our new logo. And I know we had some discussion about maybe having this put on the door outside. That can be done, or maybe even a sign outside the door here where Channel 7 goes in. Also, I think we're going to be looking at getting this on the truck, on the doors of the truck. We have advertisers that spend money with us on those trucks all the time. We sure appreciate everybody patronizing those businesses that do that, because that's a source of our income, is the advertising on that truck. So this is our new logo. Looks really nice. Our tech committee's doing a great job. Oh, we were supposed to poll the board about videoing work sessions, so our concessions we're kind of with the thought that everybody's okay with it. Okay. And then our PEG access fee check, the last of that, did that come in to you yet?
Still hasn't come in.
It hasn't. We need to check into that, because I think it was supposed to be here, was in January? Something like that. Okay.
If you could explain the service that is now available as a result of broadband that was not available prior.
You want to explain?
Do
that?
what?
The service that's available.
That people can get your broadcast streaming over the internet.
Over the internet as, yes. And I'm not the techie in this group at all. But, yeah, we're streaming over the internet now, and you'll be able to get information, Channel 798, in that respect, so that the people out in the county will be able to see what we have and what we have to offer. Before, you could only get everything, Channel 798, if you had the charter in town, city people. And county people have always wanted to be a part of this and see what's going on. So now with that, we'll be able to stream out and
Gifter.com.
get,
And even the non-charter people in the city.
yeah, that's what I'm,
watch.
right. Yes, that's true. Even the people that don't have charter in the city will be able to do that as well. You know, we're glad that all the people that have charter, because that's part of that fee that they pay comes back in the form of franchise fee, and thus part of that comes to us as part of our budget. So, is it on here? Where'd you see it? Oh, here it is, right in front of me. The website address is www.stgentv.com. So, there you are.
Now, the return is advertising? Is that the only return we get on streaming it to the internet? I mean, the people who have charter pay so much to
Right.
have charter.
Right.
And that pays for $7.98, right? Or a lot of it.
Well,
piece of it.
a
Part of
piece
it.
of it
Well-
does, yeah, a piece of it does.
Yeah, we're gonna be
We're gonna be
advertising.
advertising, and we
That's where
actually
we're
have
going.
formed a committee that's gonna start looking into advertising rates and going into those such things. We're still kind of in the infancy
Right.
stage, and we're working on it bit by bit. but come a long way, long way.
Well, I went on the internet and I pulled it up and I watched a video of the American Legion meeting on landmarks. And, I guess we'll get more current as we get involved. So it was a nice site. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good for the city.
Yeah, it is, really. It takes a lot of manpower to get out there and video all this stuff too. So like I said before, we appreciate anybody that can do some video to help us out in that respect, because it's a good thing. It's a great thing for our city, actually. So I guess our next meeting will be March the 27th? That's still February, isn't it? March the 27th at 6 PM.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll go on to approval of minutes from February 23rd meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have a number of resolutions. Resolution 2012-31, a resolution authorizing the 1985 Chevy K3500 4x4 cab and chassis to be declared surplus property and providing further authority.
Move to approve.
Second.
Call for question.
Discussion?
Yeah.
I'd like to see this up for bids locally, Your Honor, if that'd be possible. Put an ad in the paper and bid it out, and see what we come up with.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
all we have to do is make sure that the process is competitive.
We gotta have a certain low bid, like a reserve or something, don't we? We can't.
Well, we have the right.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
We'll retain that.
Right.
Okay.
I think there was some interest. I also had a phone call, there was an interest in some local folks.
Thank you.
All right. Resolution, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, yeah, hold on. Any other questions, discussion on that? Okay, all in favor of 2012-31?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, resolution 2012-32, a resolution establishing fees for duplication of records.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2012-33, a resolution reappointing Mary Lou Cameron to the St. Genevieve Park Board.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Resolution 2012-34, resolution reappointing Teresa McNeely to the St. Genevieve Park Board.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2012-35, a resolution of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a property maintenance agreement with Warren Meyer.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain this to me? I'm sure this is something that happens all the time, but
There's more than one in there, I think.
This is buyout property,
okay.
and if the people, we have a standard agreement, if they agree to maintain the property, then we will lease it to them basically for maintaining it. And there are certain things that they can and can't do with it. They can't obviously build on it or put a pool on it and certain other restrictions, but if it normally adjoins their property, and most of them mow it and keep it up, and it certainly, it adds to their property, and it obviously keeps us from having to maintain it.
Maintain it, yeah.
Saves us money.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, always,
One of the things I think you need to watch for is making sure the property owner understands that they don't, it's not theirs to just put in swimming pools or put in structures that could create liability. It's one thing to say that they gotta have insurance, but it's still city-owned property. So if somebody gets injured there, your insurance is gonna be hopefully second in line, but it's still gonna have exposure. So, we should have a file maintained on every one of these and kind of keep an eye on what do they do with it, so that you don't end up with semi-permanent structures or any kind of an operation that could expose the city to liability that you don't want. You don't mind it, that's fine, but it's still a decision that your city administrator should make, and if he's not sure, he'll bring it back to you. But I think we could do a little bit better job of making sure that the person that's maintaining the property knows that they can't do much of anything with it other than mow the grass and landscape it and plant some stuff. But even some landscaping could be a problem if it's a walking area and they put in some railroad ties. That could create a hazard that you want to know about if you're going to allow it. Okay?
Pam, if I would come into City Hall and want to be granted a piece of buyout property like this, what would I go through? They deal with you, I imagine, is that correct?
Yes, they deal with her ultimately, but they deal with Brenda, and they're informed of what the limitations are, and there's no doubt about that. I don't think what Frank's talking about here is that they do something that is prohibited. It's that they may be doing something that's allowable under the FEMA regulations that we still don't want them to do because it creates liability.
But we have a backup, we have the right to pull that property back.
They'll be in default of the agreement if they don't have prior permission from the city administrator. So if you know about it and you ask the question and the city administrator has not been presented a request for that extraordinary structure, you have a right to declare the agreement terminated.
They're committed to the use they've specified.
Right.
And it also, if they build a structure or anything, if they get permission, it still has to go before planning and zoning and all the
They have to,
specification,
yeah.
everything has to be met.
Yes.
So it's a lot
Yeah.
of hoops to jump through
Yeah,
if they
I
do
mean,
anything.
you could conceivably build a structure,
Right.
but you'd have to flood-proof
You
it
have to
and do
jump
all
through
this
some
stuff to it,
hoops.
yeah.
Well, they could do like a vegetable garden.
Yes.
That would not be prohibited.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we need to vote on that. Resolution 2012-35, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 36 has been withdrawn, right?
Yes, that was withdrawn after the agenda was.
Okay, so we'll go to Resolution 2012-37, a resolution appointing Kelly Fowler to the St. Genevieve Tourism Advisory Council.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2012-38, a resolution appointing Robert Mueller to the St. Genevieve Tourism Advisory Council.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2012-39, a resolution appointing Jan Bronze to the St. Genevieve Tourism Advisory Council.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2012-40, a resolution appointing Beth Codwell to the St. Genevieve Tourism Advisory Council.
Move to approve.
Second, third.
Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 2012-41, a resolution appointing Stephanie Greminger to the St. Genevieve Tourism Advisory Council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Get the fuck.
A lot of them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is, there's still two members yet that will need to be appointed from the Tourism Tax Commission, one appointed from the county, and a representative appointed from the Chamber of Commerce. And I have one more appointment to make yet. The mayor appoints, has 6 appointments, and I have one yet to make on the new Tourism Advisory Council. So 2 of them are here tonight. Thanks for coming, and thanks for agreeing to serve on it. Thanks very much. Old business, bill number 3845, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and the St. Genevieve Community Access Television Board, Channel 798.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderwoman Broomfield.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3845 now becomes ordinance 3783.
Thank you. Bill number 3846, second reading.
An ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and the St. Genevieve Municipal Band.
Move to approve.
Okay, no discussion. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Broomfield.
I can say yes. I don't have any financial gain. No, my daughter's president.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3846 now becomes ordinance 3784.
Okay, thank you. Bill number 3847, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County to assist in the funding and cooperation of the St. Genevieve County Recycling Center.
Make the motion to approve. Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderwoman Broomfield.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3847 now becomes ordinance 3785.
Thank you. That's all of old business, new business, bill number 3849, first reading. Huh? This one?
Skip the 911.
911.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to old business. Bill number 3848, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County regarding 911 dispatching services for the calendar year 2012.
Move to approve.
Roll call, or question, I'm
Was
sorry.
he gonna come eventually and talk to us, or?
Yeah, we were supposed to be setting that up for him to
Get Alan
get Alan here.
here.
You know, we've asked,
Yeah, so if we can set that up.
I think it's been about the third or fourth time, I think we asked.
And has he never been here?
No.
Okay. He hadn't been here since I've been here.
Anybody ever asked? We've asked. I know, but who asked you?
Did
We
it
asked
actually-
here, but-
We asked here, but did it actually?
Yeah.
Right there.
Is it,
Hmm? Yeah, we'll get him in.
I'll get him here.
Okay. Roll call.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Rogers.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderwoman Broomfield.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3848 now becomes ordinance 3786.
Okay, thank you. Now new business, bill number 3849, first reading.
An ordinance approving a budget amendment to the City of St. Genevieve fiscal year 2012 budget relating to the general fund number 010.
Move to approve.
Second.
Before a vote, we've already discussed the postage. The other amendment is to put in the $5,000 payment from the county into the marketing budget.
All in favor of first reading?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, bill number 3850, first reading.
An ordinance approving the purchase of a used Kubota zero-turn lawnmower from Rippey's in Farmington, Missouri, in an amount not to exceed $8,900 for the water department.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
I do have a question, though.
Well, let me say what I'm going to say.
Okay, say what
The
you're
vote-
gonna say, I might not
The
have
bid
to
was
ask.
for a diesel engine. The low bidder, apparent low bidder, had a gasoline engine, so it was not a responsive bid.
Okay. Is there any kind of a temporary warranty, 30-day, 60-day?
Terry negotiated.
Derek, and also this was in the budget, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's $10,000 budgeted to purchase a
Right.
lawnmower. You know, I'll talk to them about that. I would assume they would give a 30-day warranty. I've looked at the mower. I went around and solicited bids from all the local people, went on the internet and got, you know, and anybody that had anything that met our bid specs that we, you know, anything out there, we got bids in and they were the apparent low. I would assume they would. I will talk to them before the second reading.
Just sometimes when you're buying used, if you haven't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this one had like 114 hours on it. It looked like it was in really good shape.
That ain't many hours.
Yeah, no, it's practically like brand new. I'm sure they'll give it some kind of warranty. I'll talk to them before, and I'll have that information for you before the second reading.
Okay, thanks, Terry.
Yes, sir. What year is it, by the way?
I think it was a 2008 or 2009.
I mean, I'm just curious, how much mowing do you do?
We do quite a bit.
I mean, like all the buyout, or what do you?
No, we now mow the water tower, the wastewater plant, the water plant, around the lift stations. And prior to us doing the mowing, it was done with those big John Deere wide front mowers as they went by. We mow around the lagoons too. We were using brush hogs and using other mowers as time got allowed. I even actually brought my personal mower in some to keep caught up when the weather permitted, because the parks take away from, you know, they have to mow when they have to mow. So that's why it was put in the budget to buy a mower. I think this would be a good mower.
I was just curious why you went diesel over gas.
Just because of the lugging power when you get into mowing that grass with those zero turns. All my experience with those 5 and 6 foot deck mowers is that the gas mowers get hot and they wear out. You know, if you'll look at those bids, even the one bid that came in a little under this one by a couple $100, that was a gas mower. You know, it was only.
It had 2 or 3 year warranty.
Well, we did, you know, we could reject,
Yeah,
we
I
could
know, I'm
reject
just-
all of them and rebid, but,
I'm just asking because I have a gas one, a commercial, and it burns very little fuel, you know, and
there's real no reason other than the fact that the big mowers in the park and those mowers are all diesel. And most people I know in municipalities, when I made phone calls, they buy diesels. That was the only reason.
I mean, to me, the critical thing is warranty, because there's a lot of wearable stuff on a zero turn.
Yeah.
And I thought I bought a low hour one, but I don't know where you found this one, or, because it's almost unheard of, really.
Well, you know, we went on the internet and we looked through everything, and there was another bid that came in that had 260 hours. There's gobs of them on the internet right now that didn't submit bids that had them between 80 and 90 hours even. You know, people bought them or sell them. You
A
know,
lot of them can't handle them.
that's right. A lot of them can't handle them. They don't realize how tricky they are to run, and they're selling.
Well, it sounds like you did the research and this is what you want.
Well, you know, it'd make this a good mower.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the first reading. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of first reading of 3850?
Aye.
Opposed?
No, I'd want to know the warranty and everything before I vote.
We can get that for the second reading, that's what he said.
You said you're bringing it for the second reading.
You can vote no second reading.
Okay. Any public comments from anyone? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I would just like or Don Trump, I would just like a little progress report if possible with regard to the citizens' complaints registered at that mid-January meeting between Landmarks and the Board of Aldermen. I was just wondering, aside from the fact of a full slate of commissioners being approved and appointed, has there been any other action on the part of the board taken?
I know Alderman Rogers is doing an inventory, I think he's got recruited somebody to help. You're doing inventory of the,
Well, yeah.
of the lists of historic homes.
One of the things that actually Beth is doing that right now for me. She's, we didn't have a coherent list that we know of, or an up-to-date list. So I've got 2 lists that I know to exist. She's comparing the properties, and she's going through, and some of them, those buildings are probably burned and whatnot. When that list is completed, we're gonna start from there, and then we're gonna try and get the board or the commission to designate exactly within an area, say a block. If there's 6 homes, 8 homes on a block, and one of them is a contributing building, well, that doesn't necessarily make every home on that block a contributing building. That's the kind of things we're wanting to try and pinpoint, to take all of this gray area out where one house might be, one house might not be, but if you can see this house from here, is that a contributing building? And a lot of the consensus originally was, yeah. And I don't agree with it, and I know a lot of the citizens don't agree with it. So what we're trying to do is keep the historic preservation just that, to where what it says it is. And it doesn't become a chain where it spreads all the way across the
Well,
city.
I understand that. I guess the question kind of relates back to the list that Mr. Tolman generated that evening. I think there was maybe a half a dozen or concerns there. Some of them were legitimate, some of them may not be, I don't know. I was just wondering, has there been any action with regard to that list? Is there any anticipated action? Just kind of, where are we on it?
Certainly I believe since then, we probably only had one landmarks meeting and maybe 2, but.
Well, there's only really been one. The
But-
one was canceled, and the other one was with 3 new members, and nothing new was discussed there.
Yeah, I realize that. I mean, I was at one of the joint work sessions, and
Right.
it was kind of like, okay, we had a meeting, but
Right.
nothing happened, to be honest with you.
I mean, my idea is that landmarks will end up coming back to, when they've had a chance to digest that, would come back to recommendations to this board of changing the ordinance in the ways that they feel like, again, with some of the input that we've had and the questions that we've gotten, if they determine or want to make the recommendations to this board to change the ordinance and in what direction that they want to go, I think those recommendations are going to end up coming from landmarks. That would be my thoughts of where those recommendations are going to come from.
Now, that's the understanding that I was given. Now, whether that becomes acceptable to the Board of Aldermen in its entirety, or whether that needs to be tweaked, that remains to be seen. It's gonna be a complicated bunch to
Oh, I
sort
understand,
through.
I understand that. I guess what I'm seeing is somewhat of a quagmire coming up here, in that, I've been to several meetings where the landmarks commissioners say, well, we can't do that because we follow these rules, whatever, and we're directed by the Board of Aldermen, but yet the Board of Aldermen is kind of sitting there, and from what I'm hearing, you're somewhat waiting for landmarks, and it's kind of like, if each one of us are waiting to do something, well, guess what? There's going to be a lot of time pass by.
I think we're at.
I just was curious. I mean, there was questions, asked about possibly reducing the size of the district to the core area.
There's certain things that.
Has anything been done or not?
Well, there's a lot of things.
That's the bottom line.
They actually cannot do. It's, other than the discussion part of it, absolutely not. No, and my frustration is at the same level because it took me 8 months just to get the list, a list.
Well, I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
I think you're hearing what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You know, I hear things like, you know, it used to be a thorn in my side, but now it's a big sword.
Well.
Windows, comparison of one type of window to the other is over the top. You know, there was a call for an investigation. I mean, you know, some of you people have made some statements here around the table, and I was just kind of curious as to where we are. You know, the mayor said that obviously the people wanted some change.
Well, and
Just asking.
there's
Just
new
asking.
people on the commission, so I don't know what impact that's gonna have moving forward either. You know, there's been a lot stirred up in the past 6 months, 3 months, and, you know,
We will make.
we haven't had a meeting to see what their input is yet even.
I know they have the list of what the concerns were. I think we will, I'll make it a point.
I mean, is there going to be
that
any
they're-
follow-up?
That they
Oh,
address.
absolutely.
Yes. Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Any other business? Master garden. Oh, we got the street
Master
closure.
garden.
Yeah, we got the street closure for the master gardeners. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Anything else? We'll run away.
Take a break.
Take a break and we'll come back for.
PowerPoint set
So
up.
we're gonna go ahead and adjourn.
Move adjournment.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Back at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So give me enough time?
Yeah.